All right, guys, so this video will talk about the study guide. All right, this is Unit 1 Review Sheet Part 1. If you haven't done so, go ahead and pause this video, go back to the post from yesterday, and make sure you print out the study guide so you can follow along as we answer each question. All right, this video is now being filmed in 6th period. 6th period, go ahead and give a shout out to everybody. All right, thank you, 6th period. So if you have any questions, they are going to ask some relevant questions, and we're going to be polite. Correct, y'all?
Yeah.
So let's go with question number 1. Number 1 says, explain how to determine if the sums of two rational numbers will be positive or negative. Remember, there are rules when it comes to adding. If it's the same sign, we add and we keep the sign. All right? So, in order to ensure that the answer will be positive, both signs have to be what? Positive. And then to ensure that we have a negative number when we're adding and the signs are the same, both signs have to be negative. Now, if our signs are different, we know that we're going to look for the number that has the highest absolute value. So in this problem, -3 plus 4, this problem will have a negative answer because, positive answer because 4 has the highest absolute value. So whichever number has the highest absolute value determines if we have a positive or negative number. So if the number with the highest absolute value is positive, our answer will be positive. But if the number with the absolute value is negative, the answer will be negative. All right, are we good? Any questions on that one? All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, describe a real-life situation that involved negative numbers. I have one. My checking account. It has negative numbers because I've already paid all my bills and I am now broke. So I have a negative $5 in my account until my husband gets paid next week. You know what I'm saying? Is that funny? Yeah. So that's a real life situation. You have one. Elizabeth, do you have an example of a real life situation? Yeah. All right, Jasmine.
Scorekeeping.
What? Say if someone has okay, so you're playing a game or something, right? And someone's got like 10 points and one person's got 1 point. And then they mess up something and then they get negative points.
Oh, so you're saying when you take away a point, that's working with negative numbers. Good job. That's a great example. And one more. Let's go with Angel. Give me a real life situation.
If you have $100 on your bank account and then you spend 123, you're owing $23.
Yeah, that's correct. So that gives you a negative number. Good job. Those are all examples of negative numbers, where we use negative numbers in real life. All right? And then think about football. This is another example of football. If the quarterback gets sacked behind the line of scrimmage, guess what? They move it back, right? Yep. So therefore, that's a negative yardage. Get it?
Yeah.
Got it? Yeah. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 says, what does absolute value of an integer describe? Oh, I got it. You want to be on the, all right, Kobe, what does it describe?
You got it? You got it.
Come on, Kobe, what does it describe?
Well, I don't know, but I'm too loud. I said it.
Good job. Absolute value describes the distance from 0. So, we're talking about how far away a number is from 0 when we're talking about absolute value. Alright? So now let's go on to number 4. We're talking about the proficiency of skills. So number 4 says -4 minus -8. And remember that I told you when we are doing subtraction, I want you all to always circle the subtraction and the second term. When we circle the subtraction and the second term, that means that whatever is inside the circle, we're going to get the opposite. Because we know that subtracting two numbers is just like adding the additive inverse. So our new equation is going to be -4 plus what, you guys? What is the additive inverse? What's the additive inverse? 8. Good job, positive 8. So now, we need to look and see if our signs are the same or different. And since they are different, that means we're going to subtract our two numbers. We have 4. Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Why positive, Darian?
Because 8 is a higher absolute value.
Good job, because 8 has the highest absolute value, our answer will be positive 4. Alright? Let's move on to number 5. Number 5, we have -5 times -3 times 2. And we know this because there's no operation present, we just see parentheses. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is multiply from left to right, and we have to do 2 at a time. So you can do a little arrow. And so -5 times -3 is what you got? Alright, Amber, you said -15. Why did you say -15?
Because it has a negative sign.
I know, but what's the rules for multiplying and dividing? If the signs are the same, our answer is going
Add
to
a
be...
key.
No, we're talking about
Positive.
multiplying and dividing.
You got some motivators.
You have sport.
Cookies.
Well, if they're the same size, you gotta, it's positive.
Alright, what did he tell you, Everett?
Oh, it's positive.
Why is it positive?
They're the same sign.
Good job. So when you're multiplying or dividing, if the signs are the same, our answer is going to be positive. So this is going to be positive 15. So now we can bring down 2, and we can multiply this.
Wow.
And 15 times 2 is what?
30.
30, good job. And we have 2 positive numbers, so our answer is going to be positive. Alright, let's look at number 6. Number 6, we have -28, and I'm not going to use the sign they used on the paper. -28 divided by 7, alright? And so, first thing we need to ask ourselves is what? Dominic, what's the first thing we ask ourselves?
If it's the same or different.
Good job. We asked ourselves if our numbers have the same sign or different signs. Dominic, same or different?
They're different.
They're different.
They
And
are
since-
positive on the bottom.
Good job, Dominic. And since they're different, is our answer going to be positive or negative?
Negative.
Good job, Dominic. So our answer is going to be a negative what, Dominic?
Negative. Oh, -8. Okay, come on, bring me. Right here. You're close.
-28 divided by 7 is
Okay, it's -4 then.
Good job, Dominic. And Emma, the answer is -4. Alright, so let's take a look at number 7. Now we have an addition problem. We have -18 plus 9. Alright, do we change anything in this problem, Keontae?
Yes.
What do we need to change?
The operate, well, yeah. The addition sign to subtract.
Do we?
Wait,
No.
You gotta change it.
Do we need
Oh.
to change anything?
you got support. Abby,
No, you don't have to change anything.
Tell them why.
Oh, you don't have to change anything, Keontae, because, you can add +9 to -18, and you'll get -9.
Alright, because we have an addition sign, so we only change it if it says what? Subtraction. So we need to immediately ask ourselves what? If the signs are the same or if they're different. Are they the same or different? Different. So that means we can take away. So we can go to the side, 18 minus 9 is what?
9.
9. So is my answer going to be positive or negative?
Negative.
Why negative?
Because 18 is a higher absolute value.
Yes, because 18, -18 has the highest absolute value. Good job, there. Alright, so let's go to number 8. Number 8 says -16 minus 9. Alright, we have -16 minus 9. Abigail, what's the first thing I need to do?
You need to look at the signs and see if they're the same or different. Oh, and they're different.
We have a subtraction
Oh, yeah, so
problem.
you have to change it to addition.
Exactly, so we're gonna change it to addition, so what we gonna have, Abigail?
Negative 16 plus negative 9.
Good job. Alright, now what do we do, Abigail?
Then you look and see if they're the same sign.
Alright, we look at the signs, are they the same or are they different?
They're the same.
So what do we do, Abigail?
You just add.
We add them together,
Yeah,
and then what about the sign?
it stays the same.
Alright, so we have negative
25.
25, good job, Abigail. You have a question? Yes, ma'am. Because this is, 16 is negative. Do you have, think about it in terms of money. Do you have, can you show me negative $16? No. So can you take 9 away from something that you don't have? So there are certain rules we have to follow when it comes to working with integers, negative numbers. There are certain rules we have to follow when we work with negative numbers. So since we are subtracting two integers, we change it to addition because we have rules for addition. And remember, you add the additive inverse. So we have plus a negative 9. So now we can apply those rules. Are the signs the same or the signs different? Here the signs are the same, so we can add them and keep, because that's the rule for addition. Thank you. Alright, let's go to our last problem, and this is how you all learned how to do it when you all were in elementary school. 21 plus 49. Final answer is what, Ayana? 70, good job. Alright. Now, we're going to get to problem number 10, 11, and 12, and these are like word problems. So, scenario is this. What if we had B, and B is positive? Alright, B is positive, and there you have negative B. Is this going to be negative or positive? The answer is negative, because this is like saying a negative times a positive. Are the signs the same or are they different? They're different. So it's going to be, what is it going to be? Negative. Good job. Alright, number 11. This time, B is negative. B is a negative number. Alright? And then you have B times B times B times B. Alright? So, is this going to be positive or negative? Well, let's just use an example of negative 1. If I did negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1, because that's a negative number. So you can choose any negative number to substitute with. And remember, we do 2 at a time, so we have negative 1 times negative 1 gives us a positive 1. We bring this down, so now we have times negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is what? Is negative 1. So we bring this down, times negative 1. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So we have a positive number. So our answer is positive. Another way to look at it is like this. When you're multiplying negatives, if it's an even number, it's going to be positive. But if it's an odd number of letters, it's going to be negative. Yes, Kobe?
Well, I don't get why, like, cause I mean, I know they're the same sign, you multiply, you get a positive, but why do you get a positive if they're the same sign?
I'll explain that later.
We'll talk about that another time.
That was a good question, right?
Yeah,
It's a good question.
it's a good question, but we're going to discuss that later. Thank you, Kobe. Alright, number 12. We have a submarine, so I'm going to draw pictures because I love to draw. And then I need some gray. Here's my submarine.
Bro. I think it's good.
It's like Mr. Potato on the side.
Alright, all parents who are looking at this video with your kids, you see how they are clowning. Alright, so let's look at this. Here's a submarine, you guys, and this submarine right now is at 550 feet below the sea level, alright? So here's all the land, and here is 550 feet. And then it says it descends an additional 300 feet. So here's the key word. When it says below, when you think about below sea level, do you think that is a negative number or a positive number? Negative. Negative. So basically, we're already at 550 feet. If I was writing this in terms of positive or negative. And if I went down 300 more feet, is that 300 positive or negative?
Negative.
Positive.
It's negative. So we want to figure out how many we are down in total. So we're going to add or subtract this number. Yes, Adriana?
Subtract.
No. Remember, if you're at 550 and you go further down, is that plus or minus? We're adding because we're adding on to how many feet we are below zero. So we're going to add this. And our signs are the same. So what's the rule?
Adding sign,
Same sign, adding key. So we have negative 850. But then what happens? It ascends. And ascend means we go up. So is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So we're going to go up 245 feet.
oh, we added
So what is what's the location of the submarine now?
the location of the submarine would be 605 feet below sea level.
Good job. It is 605 feet below sea level.
Well, it'd be negative if you're writing it like that.
Negative 605 feet below.
Yes,
Let me write it like I got it. Alright?
Wait, I don't get it. Why would you add the 550 plus 300?
Because you're going 300 feet further down, so we're adding on to how far we're down. And then we're going up.
Oh, okay, now it makes it, now it makes it.
Alright, so the answer is negative 605 feet, or 605 feet below sea level.
I don't know that.
Alright? Let's move on. For number 13, it says there are two integers with a product of negative 36 and a sum of negative 5. What two numbers can we use that will be sufficient or satisfy this? So, what you can do, you have no clue, you can write down everything that equals all the numbers that equal when you multiply 36. 2 times what is 36?
18.
3 times what is 36?
12.
12. 4 times what is 36?
9.
And then nothing times 5 was 6 times what?
6.
6. Alright, so let's think about it. What two numbers can we add together or subtract that possibly will have 5? Yes, Sydney.
4 and 9.
4 and 9. But we're looking at a negative 5 and a negative 36. So we're going to choose 9 and 4 and 9. So we know that 4 and 9. So we know that one has to be positive and one has to be negative. And so because 5 is negative, we know that the number with the highest absolute value has to be what? Negative. So therefore, we have 4 and negative 9.
No.
Alright?
Oh, negative.
So let's take a look at number 14. I get to draw again. Number 14. So here, number 14, guys, we have the temperature. And right now, we have at 9 o'clock, the temperature is 8 degrees Fahrenheit. And then if it drops Does that mean we're gonna add or subtract? So at 10 o'clock, we're gonna subtract 5, and where are we at now?
3.
We're at 3 degrees Fahrenheit. But then it dropped again 5 degrees. So where are we now?
-2.
-2. Good job. Because 5 minus 3 is -2 degrees Fahrenheit. And we want to know where we'll be at 12 o'clock. So we're going to subtract 5 again, and where are we now?
-7.
Good job.
Negative 7.
We're at -7 degrees. So the answer is B.
Zero.
Alright, so let's take a look at number 15. I'll try my best to draw that 0, 2, 4, 6. Alright, so when we look at this, we have an arrow that's going here, here, and then we have this going all the way back here. So, what we're going to do right now, you guys, is we're going to just take a look. We're going to start here because this is our starting point. And we're going to figure out how many spaces that is. So, when we look at this, we're going towards the left. So we know our answer has to be negative, so that's 1, 2, 3. So our first number we know is -3. And so then it looks like we gotta go right. So we're going to add what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So therefore our answer is 8. Alright? Now, I will not give you the performance task answer. Sorry about that. I won't give you the performance task answer. But I will say that you will have enough money to pay your mom back. And what you need to do is look at how much you owe your mom, $60. Make a list of what you made. So you make a list of how much you made. Make sure you multiply when it says the words per, multiply. I had a great question. Someone said, hey, Ms. Arnold, when I do a tip, do they give me a tip per hour? No. Tip is one final thing. You don't get $3 tip for each hour you work. You just get one $3.
Well, why can't you?
Because that's not how it works. Tip is what I'm giving you extra for what you already chose, what you already paid. So,
Oh, that ain't good.
so you add the tip just once. You don't multiply that, and then you add what you make, and then you subtract it from how much your mom gave you, and then that tells you what is left. But I want to see you all work this out tomorrow on your test. All right, you guys, we are done. Are there any questions or concerns for me?
Yeah.
All right, and so we're going to get back to Kobe. He had a question about why are two numbers negative, and since we have time, we're done with the study guide, Ms. Dahlman is going to take over for us.
Okay, so he asked why do two negatives make a positive? And I'm going to explain that, but you really have to think, okay? So put your thinking cap on, and here it is. Okay, if I have 2 times 3, then that says 2 groups of 3. So I have a positive 3, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 2 groups of positive 3, and that's positive 6, right? Okay, and then I have 2, oops,
Okay.
2 times -3. So that says 2 groups groups of -3. So, or negatives, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 6 negatives. Then if I have -2 times 3, pardon my frustration, Lord. That says the opposite of two groups of 3. So I'm going to have two groups of +3. But then I have the opposite of, which is the opposite of +6 is -6. So here's the final explanation. Let me extend it. There we go. Okay, then if I have -2 times, it's my fingernails, times -3, that says the opposite of two groups of -3. So I have two groups of -3, which makes -6, but then I have the opposite of -6, which is
But how would you get
+6.
Exactly. How would you
Look,
get
the opposite of, the negative in front says the opposite of
But that was ignored.
two groups of -3. So I have two groups of -3, right? Right? Which means -6, but then I have this in front that says the opposite of, which is +6.
So basically what you're saying is if the first number has a negative, it's going to be the opposite.
Yes. If you want to do it that way, then yes. The front, whatever's in front tells you what to do with the problem.
But if that's what the problem has, if it's a negative.
So basically it's the love-hate rule.
Love-hate rules apply here. But that's why. You ask why, that's why.